Have you ever been playing a combat game mode on a Minecraft server, and the other person is either just really good or, I don't know, kind of using something to a point where you can't really reach them, but they can always kind of reach you? Well, imagine how the dungeon mobs felt when they introduced swing range. Now, for those of you who don't know what swing range is, the higher your swing range stat is, the further away that you can reach, meaning that you don't have to be as close to a mob as everybody else. Now, the vanilla swing range is 3. That basically means that you can hit a mob from 3 blocks away, or kind of closer. But that got me thinking, what is the maximum swing range you could possibly get, and can we achieve it? Well, there's a very easy way to check. If you simply search for swing range on the wiki, it basically shows every single item that will increase your swing range. So we've got pets, of course weapons, armor, and your swing range also scales with your level in dungeons. Let me be specific, your Berserk class level. Now this instantly tells me that I'm not going to be able to get the true maximum amount of swing range because I'm not Berserk class level 50. But we can get pretty close because we can definitely go ahead and get swing range in other ways. So as for pets, we've got 4 options. 2 of them give us a flat 1 swing range, so that's the giraffe pet and the golem pet. And there's 2 extra pets that are going to give us bonus swing range. One of them is the Bal pet, which will basically give us an extra 15% on all stats when in the magma fields. So we're not going to be able to benefit from this unless we're in the magma fields, which is realistically completely useless. And also the Blaze pet, which is going to increase most stats by 10% while in the Crimson Isles. Now what's got to be said is, for it to be worth using, for instance, a Blaze pet in the Crimson Isles, this 10% buff is going to have to basically provide more than 1 swing range. Otherwise it's pointless getting the Blaze pet, you might as well get the giraffe or the golem. This means that you're already going to have 10 swing range for this to actually be better than either of these 2. So realistically for now it's going to be the giraffe or the golem pet, and we can see what kind of figures we achieve, and if we'll be better off with a Blaze pet then I'll buy one. But it only works in the Crimson Isles. Honestly, the pet that makes most sense to buy is probably going to be the giraffe pet, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Next up, the weapon. It's a Dark Claymore. There's absolutely no question. It gives you 2 swing range and the next best gives you 1, so we're going to have to buy a Claymore. Honestly, for the purpose of this video, the actual Claymore itself doesn't really matter, but this is a relatively decent one for a relatively okay price, so we're going to go ahead and buy that. And next up, we actually have Crimson Armor. If I'm being honest, I didn't actually realise that this was a thing. I didn't realise that this was actually added to the Crimson Armor. But each Dominus stack grants you +1 swing range. So that means at 10 stacks, it's going to be giving us an extra 1 swing range. So yeah, we'll use some Crimson Armor. We already have it right here. We'll just put these random Crimson boots on, why not? The only thing that actually matters is the armor. Now that's interesting because, well, realistically, swing range is most appreciated as a Berserk in dungeons. So using Crimson is going to be an interesting one, let's say. And then for our final source of swing range, we have the Berserk class level, which we're going to gain 0.06 swing range per level. Now let's see what happens. Before we go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5% off. You should subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We have for slaves and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Now what I will say is it's a shame that there isn't a power stone that gives you swing range, even if it's not a lot, because I understand a lot of swing range would be way too OP, or even if there was like tuning points that you could put on that would give you a very, very little amount of swing range. I'm not sure how useful it would really be, but it would be a nice touch. Regardless of that, let's assemble our setup. So first of all, we have Crimson Armor, which we'll just put on these boots for the relative ease of actually maintaining stacks. We need to make sure that we have our Giraffe pet equipped, which we do, and we have our Dark Claymore, and now it's just a case of basically going into a dungeon and seeing what we can actually achieve. I'll sort my equipment and power stone out, actually. Now, first of all, I'm just kind of interested to see what our swing range is at the moment with our Giraffe pet on and our Dark Claymore. Our Crimson isn't going to be doing anything at the moment because we don't have any stacks. Now, at the moment, we have 6 swing range, which is double what you would usually get. Actually, I guess we could get some stacks just over here in the hub zombies just to make sure everything works properly. We should be able to get up to 7. So we currently have 3 stacks. Let's see if this is working. Does it say we have 6.3? Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, it's already working. Look how far away we can hit things from. It's pretty damn cool, I'm not going to lie. Now, we do have our 10 stacks, so let's double check that everything's working. Yeah, we now have 7 swing range. So, our Berserk level is 32. which means that we should gain an extra 1.92 swing range when we go into dungeons. So that actually means that we should almost have 9 swing range. Yeah, we should have like 8.9 swing range. Well, let's see how it works out. Okay, so here we go. Down. Yeah, I mean, we can hit things from far away. I don't know what else to say. Okay, we now have 10 stacks, so let's see what it says. Yeah, 9.42 swing range. I'm not sure how that really works, considering we have 10 stacks. Oh wait, we have even more. We should have had like 8.9, but we have 9.42. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something else that we gain swing range from. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, our Claymore is giving us 2.08 rather than 2, right? That's very interesting. Oh, no, it's up to 11.5. Is this the giraffe pet? Yeah, our swing range is 11.5, so I think in a minute I need to look and see what potentially could be giving us more swing range, because I don't see what could be, considering there isn't actually anything else on the wiki, unless I've skimmed over something's stats or abilities. Now, we know that this stat is capped at 15, which is actually crazy, which is 5 times the actual vanilla Minecraft swing range, which is mad. And I think I'd get a lot closer to that if I was, like, for instance, Berserk class level 50. But, you know, that's not something that can be done in just a matter of a few minutes. I mean, what I will say is, it actually is quite fun. I'm not saying, like, I mean, I'm using Crimson Armor. I mean, even if I don't use Crimson Armor, I'm only, what, losing like 1 swing range? Now, the Claymore gives us slightly more swing range. Yeah, it gives us 2.08 in dungeons as opposed to outside. So, it doesn't look like it's going to be the Claymore that's giving us more swing range. It's not the armor, and it doesn't look to be the giraffe pet. So, it must be something else with the Berserk class bonus. That honestly doesn't really shed much light. Now, this is probably better. Maybe it's the bottom one? Weapon Master. Your melee weapon hit up to 5 enemies within your swing range in a frontal cone. Increases your maximum swing range by 3.92 blocks. That increases our maximum swing range. That doesn't necessarily increase our swing range. I guess that just increases the cap. Now, as I said before, the main usage for a high swing range setup would be for a Berserk setup in dungeons. The Berserk class perks only add to what you've already got, but there are other aspects of the game that swing range is useful for. And one of those examples would definitely be ghosts. I mean, it's kind of annoying to have to get really far up to the ghosts, but with, well, 6 or 7 potentially swing range when you've got stacks, it is much nicer to kill, I've got to say. Now, outside of dungeons, realistically, the highest swing range that you're going to get is 7. So your base swing range, 2 from the Claymore, 1 from your giraffe, and then also another 1 from your Crimson Armor. Which is nice when killing things like ghosts. I mean, I'm not ideally in the best position over here, but there was somebody killing ghosts over there, and I didn't really want to destruct them, considering I'm not actually grinding, I'm just kind of displaying. And 7 swing range in comparison to 3 is actually really nice for something like ghosts. Like, I can't really complain. Like, you're dealing a ton of damage just the same as you would with a regular melee hit, only you can be more than twice as far away as usual. There's always been a pretty big issue with melee weapons in Hypixel Skyblock, and that's that they're pretty much all the same. You simply just left click and hit, and you have to be close. It's not ranged, everything's close quarters, and there's lots of other better options like bows and mage weapons. But if they were to implement more ways to gain more swing range and potentially increase the cap, it would make Berserk weapons, well, quite OP if you can hit from so far away and still deal a ton of damage. Now, what would be cool is if that swing range also meant that you can interact things with really far away. For instance, like in dungeons, I mean, obviously it wouldn't solely be swing range at that point, but think about it, if you're doing floor 7, you wouldn't really need to be that close to a terminal to actually do it. I don't know, it'd just be something, you know, added extra, another incentive for people to use a melee weapon. Because at the moment, I mean, the swing range is really, really cool. It really is. I mean, I think it's probably something that a lot of people overlook. But especially like in dungeons, you can't really optimize for swing range as such. You can't use armor realistically if you're actually going to play the game properly. You have a Claymore, maybe a giraffe pet or a golem pet, but then again, you're basically forfeiting a lot of damage. But there we go. I think that was as much swing range as I could possibly get, because there's no other way of gaining it, so that was my max swing range for now. If I ever get to Kata 50 and class average 50 in Berserk, which I really don't think is going to happen, then maybe I'll remake this video in the future. Maybe we'll be able to get more swing range in the future too. That would be pretty cool. But anyway, let me know what you think of Swing Range. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.